Okay, I'm about to do my first official real roast. I'm waiting for my temp to get down to about 370, my charge temp to drop in at 370. So this is what that looks like. I'm at 383 and dropping. I'm using this one, which is the bean temp. That's the internal temp of the drum, and that's going to be basically the bean temp. Let me turn off the mixing tray. That doesn't need to be on. I'm at 379, waiting and dropping. I'm going to actually drop my beans in. These are Guatemalan beans. I'm using about 2.2 pounds. I'm not a fan of these Guatemala beans. I've roasted these in my kitchen before, and they're fairly shitty. So that's why I'm using them for my first roast. I got a 374. I'm going to drop them in just a second. The heat is turned off. I'm going to wait 1 minute before I kick the heat back on, and I have it preset at 3 kPa. We're at 370 now, dropping them in. Okay. So, let me start my timer. Bingo. All right, so 370 at the 0, 20 ventilation, that's my fan. My hot air fan is blowing out at 20, and I'm gonna do a 1 minute delay before I kick the gas back on. Yeah, this is my first roast. I'm pretty fucking nervous. We'll see how it comes out. Because I'm doing 2 pounds in a basically a 2 kilogram, which is 5 pounds. Well, this has a 5 pound capacity, and 4 pounds is roughly where you should be roasting at. I got 20 seconds before I'm going to kick the gas back on. And I got to figure out, and I'm waiting to find out what my turnaround temp is, but I have a couple minutes before then, or a minute and a half before then. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. I'm 1 minute in, I'm going to kick my heat back on. Boom. I have the heat set at 3 kPa. Yeah, okay, 3, there you go. And now what I'm doing now is I'm watching right here, and I'll show you. I'm watching right here to see what my bean temp is. And it's gonna drop down, and in the past, it's basically dropped down to the low 2s. So about 202 is where the turnaround generally, I think, will be for what I'm doing here. We'll see though, because I've never done 2 pounds before. I've only done, like I said, I'm expecting this to move a little faster. Yeah, I'm turning around right here. I'm at 236 now. I'm moving up. 236. So temp is 236. I'm at a minute and 55. When that happens, ventilation is at 20. That's good. And then my gas flow is at 3, and that's my turn. And now what I'm waiting for now, I'm waiting for yellow. And yellow should be, so what I'm looking for here, as I look at the tryer, you see the beans still green. Nothing really to smell. I'm not even picking up any grassy. Like I said, this is kind of shitty beans. I'm expecting my yellow. I'm hoping my yellow will kick in around 5 minutes. 4.5 to 5 minutes. I've got my air temp set fairly low, so this way my internal temp and bean temp rises fairly quick. I've noticed in the past now that I'm getting yellow at around 300 degrees. Now, every bean is different. I've never roasted the Guatemala. I've only done the seasoning beans, and those were turning yellow at around 300. But they were taking, the last one I did, the turnaround was at, the yellow was at 8 minutes, but I was doing 4 pounds. So now I'm doing 2.2 pounds, so that all of those numbers should drop down and everything should move a little faster. Because I'm already at 260 something degrees. Not much smell happening. I'm just going to get this green bean out of here because I don't want it in my final roast at the end. 272 is my temp coming up at 3 minutes and 50 seconds. I'm still waiting on green to yellow. My kPa is holding steady at 3 kPa, and my internal temp is rising fairly well. So I'm going to make a note here. I'm just going to kind of get ready for my yellow, and I'm hoping that it turns yellow. And I can even see it in my sight glass. Here, I'll actually bring you a little closer so you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm basically pulling and looking. Still not much happening. I'm coming up on 4 minutes and 50 seconds. So at 4 minutes and 50 seconds, I'm still early on turning yellow. That's still fine. What I'm hoping for is somewhere before 6 minutes that I hope I turn yellow. And I think I'm on path. I'm at 305 degrees now. Oh, I'm getting there. I'm getting a little bit of yellow. Oh, and now I'm getting some smelling. Like, now it's starting to smell like, kind of like something's baking. I'm at 3:15 in 5 minutes and 30 seconds. I think I'm going to basically be able to call it at about 10 to 15 seconds yellow. I'm looking for, let me see if this helps me. Yeah, I'm yellow. I'm definitely yellow. So I'm going to say yellow at 5:40 and around 3:20. And my vent is still 2, and I'm still at 3. And now I'm going to keep at it. I'm going to keep going for this. No change in my temperature right now. My hot air is about 366. So I'll put that there. That's my exhaust temp. I'm exhausting out that temperature. Yeah. And now I'm going to just keep an eye on this. And this is going to move fairly quick because I'm already brown. As you can see, I'm already kind of browning. That's good. Oop. That means I'm not far off from first crack. Now what I've seen done, and I've tried this, but everything before this has been seasoning, so this is number 1 for me. I'm going to try cutting my temp. I'm going to cut the heat off right when when I'm getting into first crack, to let the heat of the drum heat it rather than me continuing to try to heat the drum. I'm going to let the drum do the work, because the internal temp, it's like a cast iron. You ever throw a steak in there and then you cook it and then you turn the heat off, but the cast iron stays hot for a long time. That's what's happening inside here. So I'm 7 minutes and 15 seconds in. I don't hear any cracking, but you can tell that the beans are starting to turn from brown. Some areas of it are brown and darker brown. Here, I'll show you. You can see how some areas are slightly, I don't know if you can get that, if it zooms in. I don't know. I don't want to leave it out of the heat too long. We're at 7 minutes and 40 seconds. The temp on it is about 365. I'm expecting around 375. Oh, you can hear that. I was going to say I'm expecting about 370, 375 to be official first crack. First crack is 3 pops in a row for me. That's it right there. So 374. So, man, I was close. 374. I'm going to kick the heat. That was at 810, roughly, or 805, I think more. I'm going to keep it at 20 ventilation. Drop the gas flow to 0. Make my note for first crack. And my air temp is 395. So now I just sit and wait, okay? I'm going to give it about, what did I say? 805, it's first crack. And then I turn my temp off. Now I'm going to kick the I'm gonna give it a little more time. I don't want to stall out my thing, but I'm gonna give it 50 seconds break. And now I'm gonna kick my heat back on. I'm gonna lower it down to 2 kPa. 2 kPa at 9 minutes and 55 seconds. My temp is 396. I don't want the temp to like get too high too fast. Technically, I'm done. I'm almost done with first crack. I can hear it. And I'm gonna up my ventilation here to 50. Because I want to push some of that heat through. I want the beans to have time to kind of be at that temp. I don't want them to keep getting hit. I'm at 405. That's good. I'm through first crack. I'm going to give it another 10-15 seconds. And I'm going to pull it. My internal temp on the bean is probably going to be around 413. 413 is roughly a light roast. Make a note here, pulling at. Okay, I'm actually going to pull it at 415, which is that's at right here at. Oh, let me turn on my cooling tray and get it going. And that was at 10:30. It was about 4:15. There we go. That looks pretty good. And you can see now, because most of the previous roasts, there's a couple of straggling black beans in there, like this little bastard right here. You see that little guy? He's black as can be. He's from a previous roast. Now that got stuck in there. What happens is the darker roasts, I can shut this now. Turn the heat off, actually. The darker roasts, will get stuck in the cooling. Inside the drum. So when you're roasting darker roasts, they tend to get stuck in there a little easier than a what do you call it? There's another one. Than like a lighter roast bean, because what happens with a dark roast is they get very I don't know if you can see right there. They get very what is the word? Like oily and therefore sticky in a sense. Just gonna toss that outside. So that's it. So that was my first official roast. I'm actually quite happy with how it came out. My OCD roast. Check out you can see my OCD. Everything's branded OCD. I love it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Hope that was helpful. It's going to be helpful for me because I'm going to watch it over and over again.